Look at the Cuban economy today. It is a system collapsing under the weight of accumulated imbalances. It is the very definition of a perfect storm. And, of course, there is the massive, prolonged external pressure, the US blockade. This is not just a factor, it is the most determining factor. It restricts income, raises financial costs, and strangles Cuban access to foreign currency. The island is under economic siege. But what if I told you that there is a digital force that not only reports the chaos, but designs it? A platform that operates under the banner of independent journalism, but is a direct instrument of the US unconventional war against the Cuban people. We are talking about El Toque, and this is the money trail, the story of how destabilization became an algorithm.
From Havana shores to Andes reach, where sun and shadows play.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Hemispheric Headlines, your source for the most important news from Cuba and Latin America. I am Livia, and here are today's top stories.
Politics dance on shifting ground. Society sings without a sound. Markets twist like tango feet underneath the drum and beat. Hemispheric headlines true. In vibrant colors they renew. Stories bold and whispers grand. From the mountains to the sand.
To understand the role of El Toque, we must first understand the vulnerability. The external pressure creates an open wound. The blockade restricts the entry of foreign currency, which is the oxygen of any modern economy. This forces a dangerous reliance on the informal market, and that informal market is where El Toque steps onto the stage. By amplifying every economic disturbance, this platform becomes the barometer of that black market, a market that, in turn, reproduces distortions and directly harms the population. Investigations on the role of El Toque in Cuban economic problems don't stop at the surface impact. They went to the root, the origin, and the origin is much older than we think. The story begins with a radio station, the Dutch Radio Netherlands. Initially, it was created for the purpose of observation against the Soviet Union. After the collapse of the USSR, guess what? US funding did not stop. It was simply redirected. According to research, the core of this operation was the formation of a new type of countercultural leadership. They didn't want obvious mercenaries. They wanted journalists. They wanted people who graduated from Cuban universities, who could be identified with the population, but who were trained in the trade of observation. And to do this, those chosen by the United States government participate in leadership training courses in Europe.
He was asked, do you have freedom of the press? He said, no, we don't really. You're not free in Cuba to preach capitalism, racism, sexism, or imperialism, or those things. We do have a controlled press. Why don't you have our capitalist point of view in here in Cuba? He said, well, we get all your stations from Miami anyway, but we'll be happy to put your viewpoint on our official television when you would make time and put our viewpoint on your television. Well, we can't do that because we have a free and independent press. Right. Okay, So we are told that we must oppose Cuba because Fidel Castro is a dictator. But wait a minute. Before Fidel Castro took power in 1959, there had been 20 years of rule by a dictator. His name was Batista. Batista was a butcher. He was hated by the Cuban people. And the U.S. loved him, kissed him, hugged him, made nice with him, sent him aid, trained his Guardia Civil and all this sort of thing. What's the difference? What was the difference between Batista and Castro? The difference was that Batista was a cooperative dictator. What does that mean? It means that he opened up his country to U.S. interests. He says, come on in, boys. The tobacco industry here, the best in the world, right? Cuban tobacco, Cuban cigar. It's yours. The cotton industry, the sugar industry, the magnesium, the mining, the shell food, the tourist industry, big one, all yours. You guys come on in. You own it all, Yankees. You can have it. You can profit. And I keep my people down so that they work hard for less. And the less you have to pay them, the more there is for you. And all you got to do, though, is take care of me, my family, my brother Juan, my brother Jose, my cousin this and that. You give me my boodle. You train my police and paramilitary, and we'll take care of everything for you. And so it was a client-state relationship. So what you had was U.S. tax money going in there to make the world safe, to make Cuba safe for big U.S. investments.
In April 2017, the mission against Cuban economic materialized in the Colectivo Más Voces Foundation, led by José Hassan Nieves Cárdenas. Formally, it was a non-profit entity, but it was revealed the unvarnished truth. It received funds from the structures of the United States government, from the State Department, USAID, and the NED. The purpose of this funding, according to trustful sources, was unequivocal: to work against the Cuban socialist system. The investigative process shows that after the Foundation's accreditation and the creation of the company Media Plus Experience, the activities openly aligned with the interest of their founders to destroy Cuban economy. This is not journalism, it is economic sabotage. The U.S. government pays salaries with the purpose of undermining internal peace in Cuba. And the current director of El Toque admits to being salaried with that express purpose. We are facing a person who, for money, commits acts that could classify under various criminal offenses in Cuban law. He is acting aggressively against his country of birth. The impact of the blockade is undeniable, but when an externally funded digital platform is used to amplify scarcity, manipulate currency, and intensify panic, it is part of a calculated act of war. What do you think? Independent journalism or economic sabotage? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you want more analysis on Cuba and Latin America, be sure to subscribe. Bye and good luck.
Underneath the drum and beat, hemispheric headlines true.